Good afternoon, hopefully everybody's having a great Saturday, but Brendan Rodgers isn't having the greatest weekend because there's no news on any more Celtic signings. Welcome back to Fog Football. Now, we put a poll up a couple of weeks ago. We'll get into that on this video about Celtic fans. Are you happy with your transfers so far this window? But before we get into that poll, let's go to what Brendan Rodgers had to say yesterday in his presser. And this is what he said had regarding new signings. And I quote, "I've got nothing new for you. It's very clear what we need to improve, and there's a lot of work going on clearly by ourselves in probably every club. That's the reality of this time of the year. We are hoping that we can conclude some deals and improve the squad." And obviously, as a group that run the club and have run it so well for so many years, they have to get what they feel is the best value for the players. I think the board have shown over many years they will get the work done. Of course, as coaches and managers and supporters, you want the best players, but ultimately the club will be run in a way that makes sure that both the players and the best value is there to be made. That sits above me. That's something that clearly does. End of quote. Right. So obviously, Rodgers ain't happy, folks. All right, Rodgers ain't a happy man. I don't blame him. I mean, we also had the Go-Ahead Eagles chief executive or someone along those lines, owner of the club, I don't know, but whoever it was, he came out and said that Celtic should take a leaf out of Rangers' book and just come in and spend the money. Rangers come in for Antman, bid the money, got him. Celtic were playing low ball, right? And who would have thought going into this summer, right, even despite the 49ers, right, because I thought we would spend money. We have spent money, so fair play to the 49ers, right? But who would have thought going into this summer, right, that Celtic would be playing low ball over players and Rangers would actually be spending the money? To me, that was unheard of. Like, I thought at best we would spend money, but Celtic would also spend money because, you know, war chest and all that stuff. But what we've actually got is a situation where Rangers have spent 18 million. They don't appear to be slowing down, while Celtic have spent about 3 and a bit million. That's insane. And Celtic have sold players for big money. Rangers, we haven't even sold players for big money, right? So, from that perspective, this summer couldn't have went more perfect in terms of transfers. From a Rangers perspective, in terms of what Celtic have done. Now here, haven't really seen a lot of what these new players can do, but judging just based off what other Celtic fans are saying, it looks like they're not going to amount to all that much. And we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, same at Rangers, not every new player can be like a Gazima, right? Who's come in and just ripped the script, man, and he scored 4 goals in 3 Champions League qualifiers. We'll have to wait and see with a lot of the other players before you can judge them. But imagine going in to last season, right? Kind of similar to imagine you told Rangers fans if Danilo, Doyle and Finlay Curtis were going to be the 3 guys starting in these Champions League qualifiers, right? Imagine at the end of last season, right? Cal McGregor's tears are still dripping down from his face. Imagine an hour after that Scottish Cup final ended, right? You'd say to Celtic fans, here, see in the 8th of August, or the 9th of August as it is now, you would have spent 3 million in the transfer window. You've sold Nicholas Kuhn, right? You've not replaced Kyogo yet, while Rangers have spent 18 million. No one would have been happy with that. Of course they wouldn't have been happy with that. I mean, all the talk was going into this season, Chris Sutton on the Daily Record, as we call him, Celtic have got the opportunity here to blow Rangers away, put light years between them, all this and that. And they've just been stagnant. But at the same time, as I keep on saying, we keep on hearing from pretty much a lot of people, right? Doesn't have to just be Celtic fans, but Celtic fans that include it. Celtic will win the league. Celtic win the league easy. We'll win the league easy. We'll win the league easy, right? Celtic may win the league easy. But if Celtic are going to win the league easy, right, then can you not understand why the board haven't spent money? I mean, you'd have to be brain dead not to see that. Because, end of the day, Champions League, yeah, you want to improve there. But the bread and butter's domestics. So, I think that's where we'll leave that wee part of the video, because it's now time to head over to the poll and see who won. And as we head over to the community section on Fog Football, we asked the question, are Celtic weaker now than the end of last season? And we got over 1,000 votes, we appreciate that. And an overwhelming majority says that yes, the window has been poor so far. Now, I forgot the words has been poor. Grammar, folks. I jobbed myself out there, but 83% of people saying that the window's been shite, essentially. I agree. When you've got, put it this way, right? When you've got opposition fans, myself included, happy / celebrating the business that Celtic have done, that's how you know your transfer window's been pretty shite. I think we can all agree on that. And obviously we've got 17% saying no, it's been a good window so far. And obviously this was 10 days ago. This takes it back into the last couple of days of July. But either or, 10 days ago or today, the window's not been that good. And with that Champions League registration day coming up ever so soon for the playoff, I mean, you could be looking at a situation, right, where Celtic, they sign somebody good, but it's after the registration day, and they can't help them. I mean, there's a situation where the person they sign is good. They have 2 great games in the league or the cup or something, but it's after the registration day, and they can't help them in the Champions League, and then Celtic go out against Bratislava or the other team, and then that's going to bring the pitchforks, because they're going to be like, well, why the fuck wasn't he signed before then? Why wasn't he signed before the registration? So these problems can happen, but we'll see what the comments said. Alan Wood says, these two Huns really getting excited. I'm not getting excited, right? Excited would be November time and Celtic are 20 points behind Rangers, right? All I'm saying is, I'm happy with the business that Celtic have done. Put it this way, I didn't think it would be much worse. Tierney's a great piece of business, can't dispute that, but how long will he last? John says Celtic have done well, 6 signings. Well, that's your opinion, John. Stevie the King says there's a new sheriff in town. The Rangers are coming. Aye, Timmy. Weetabix hips who's already injured? Haha, pedo supporters injured already. There's no surprise. Celtic forever? What's injured already? Is he burying his own player? I don't know what's going on there. Pato, Yamada and Iger and Tierney are good additions. Pushe, an interesting backup. Maybe it's CDM also. Yeah, I think Nigel looked alright against St Mirren. Tierney's obviously a good addition, but Celtic need our wingers, I think. Harry, we don't need to spend much as long as we reach Champions League, job done. The league is a formality, should be done before Christmas, lol. But see, Harry's entitled to think that, because recent history shows that. But can the people not understand that that's why the Celtic board don't want to spend? If people think that this current team can have the league wrapped up by Christmas, then why would the Celtic board spend like 50 million of the war chest? People need to understand that. Poor windows, as usual, just about average. Honestly, Celtic had an okay window. Brought in Yamada, who seems decent. Tierney, who's great, and brought in Inamura, who could actually be a real competition for Tierney. We how pre-season was looking. Apart from that, Ajax result, Celtic beat a decent Newcastle and Al side. If Celtic buy a winger and keep Maida, I think they could say they're a good window overall. I think, yeah, if Celtic bring in a winger or two, that obviously improves the outlook of the window. We'll have to wait and see. Matthew Miles, used people need to hope we're 17 points and 47 goals worse. We Stevie. Yo, everybody starts at 0. Matty, alright? And there's no lie about that. So, he needs to hold his L there. Alright? Celtic are weaker than they were last season, and that's a fact. That is a fact. There's no lie detected there. Skyrock brought in Tierney, come on, he'll be Yota. Part 2, always injured like he was for most of his time at Arsenal. And Mr. Project Mayhem says, yeah, but only need to strengthen for Europe. If Celtic fans want their board to strengthen, they need a threat. I agree with that. But I thought maybe the 49ers spending money would do it, but who knows. Literally can't be weaker. Won the league with the current squad. Upgrade Taylor to a world-class left back. Trusty not much fit. New striker to replace Kyogo that is much quicker than Maida, so 3+. Kuhn, who will be replaced within the week. Just silliness to state otherwise. Well, is it silliness to state otherwise? Kuhn not being replaced. The new striker, he's saying he's quicker than Maida. Yo, I'm not saying the new striker's pish, right? But he's an unknown at this point. It's not like he started a load of games for Celtics, like in the games that they've had, and he's bagged in goals. We literally know nothing. Celt says Dermot needs to leave. Completely unacceptable. Going to be beat by the 69ers at this rate. It's not that bad. Get a grip. We win the league a game without buying anyone like last season. But see, that's why. Who's that walking past the West Wing? Who's that? But that's why the board probably don't feel like they need to spend, guys. Matthew says, I don't. Celtic are weaker, but the window business has been very poor. So he doesn't think Celtic are weaker, but the window business has been very poor and slow as per usual. Fair enough. Right, folks, that's where we'll leave this video there. Rodgers ain't happy, but we'll have to wait and see. It just depends what happens. You know, tomorrow, if Celtic lose to Aberdeen or draw, then the question marks about the transfer business are going to be there. They're going to be in bold text. But if Celtic win 2 or 3-0 tomorrow, then the board, they'll be rubbing their hands together. We don't need to spend any money, but we'll have to wait and see.